Video Z1 Measures is called the basics, however it's not quite as simple as it initially seems. In this video we talk about the different measures that are used in metric measurements for length and weight and capacity, and also how to convert between them. So looking at length, first of all, we use kilometres, metres, centimetres and millimetres. Kilometres are used generally to measure the distance between places because they are much longer than the other measurements. A metre would be used to measure something like a playground. Think about your metre ruler that you use in school. That's exactly a metre long. Centimetres would be used for measuring the length of a pencil. A centimetre is roughly the distance across the top of one of your fingers. And a millimetre would be used for measuring something slightly thinner or smaller, for example, the thickness of a small booklet. A millimetre is roughly the diameter of a large full stop. So when we're converting between them, we need to know how to do this because quite a lot of questions ask you to convert between measures. So to convert between kilometres and metres, to go from kilometres to metres, you times by 1,000 because there are 1,000 metres in a kilometre. To go from metres to kilometres, it's the opposite. You divide by 1,000. From metres to centimetres, you times by 100 as there are 100 centimetres in a metre, and the other way from centimetres to metres would be the opposite, divide by 100. From centimetres to millimetres, you would times by 10 as there are 10 millimetres in a centimetre, and from millimetres back to centimetres again you would do the opposite, which is divide by 10. If you wanted to go from one, or to convert from one measure to another which are further apart, for example from metres to millimetres, I would encourage you to do it in two steps, to go from metres to centimetres first and then go to millimetres. And it just breaks it down into slightly easier calculations. If you prefer to do it all at once, then fine. Just be wary when you're doing something like converting between kilometres straight to centimetres because you're talking lots of zeros there. Very easy to make a mistake. Let's move on to weight. Okay, with weight, we go from tonnes, which is the heaviest unit of measurement, through kilograms, grams, and down to milligrams. Milligrams don't come up very often, but it's worth knowing what they actually mean. Let's start with tonnes. A tonne is the size of a small car. So it's a measurement that doesn't come up very often, but you are expected to know just in case it does come up. A kilogram is the weight of a bag of sugar, so grab a bag of sugar at the cupboard, get a feel for it, and notice how heavy that is. A gram is approximately the weight of a normal sized paperclip, and then milligrams are used for measuring the tiny, tiny amounts of the chemicals that go into your medicine. So if we're going off the conversion side of it, a tonne is 1,000 kilograms. So to convert from tonnes to kilograms, we would times by 1,000. And to go the other way, from kilograms to tonnes, we divide by 1,000. From kilograms to grams, that 1,000 comes in again. Remember that kilo means 1,000. To go from grams to kilograms, we're dividing by 1,000. And that 1,000 comes in again. There are 1,000 milligrams in a gram, so we're going to times by 1,000 there. And to go from milligrams back to grams, we divide by 1,000. So with weight, it's always 1,000 that you're dealing with. When we move on to capacity, in metric, we only talk litres and millilitres. So a litre is roughly the amount of liquid that you would get in a normal sized bottle of squash. I know you can get bigger ones and smaller ones, but the ones that you see most often are 1 litre. It's hard to say what a millilitre looks like, but I like to use this as being a pretty good guide. When you have a teaspoon of Calpol, that's got 5 millilitres in. So if you think about a teaspoon of Calpol divided into 5 little amounts, that would be a millilitre. So to convert between the two, to go from litres to millilitres, you would times by 1,000. And the opposite, to go back again, from millilitres to litres, you divide by 1,000. Rough ideas of what fluid amounts look like. If you think about a washing up bottle, liquid bottle, that would be about half a litre, which is 500 millilitres. A standard fizzy drink can would be 330 millilitres, which is approximately a third of a litre. So that just gives you a rough idea. Remember, you can always have a bottle with you in the 11 plus for a drink, and as long as you know how much liquid there is in there, it doesn't have to be written on, then that can help you to assess different capacities and any questions that come up. So, a lot to learn, a lot to remember, but every single one of those conversions needs to be up there in your brain.